Have you ever wondered that behind every action and reaction there is a purpose? Simon Sinek, in his book, Starts with Why, discloses the secrets behind most successful people and organizations. They all begin with a powerful why. How many times do you ask yourself the same question? If you are curious why and how this why is so important, watch this audiobook summary till the end, because you're going to be blown away by what we are going to tell you. Why start with why? Motivating people is often tied to external factors, making it a relatively straightforward task. However, the true mark of a great leader is their ability to inspire action. Those who can inspire individuals provide them with a sense of purpose or connection that is not dependent on any external reward or advantage. This is the key difference between motivation and inspiration. While motivation can be influenced by external factors, inspiration is a deeply internal drive that leads to action. Motivated people's drive to take action is deeply internal. They are less susceptible to being influenced by rewards. Motivated individuals are willing to invest more or endure inconvenience and even personal hardship. Those who can inspire will establish a community of supporters, voters, customers, and employees who act for the benefit of the entire group, not because they are obliged to, but because they desire to. So, here is what Simon Sinek tells you in his book. Assume you know everything. The world around us leads us to make assumptions based on incomplete or false information, influencing our decision-making process. Can we truly understand the reasons behind the success or failure of organizations, or do we simply make assumptions? If outcomes differ from our expectations, it is likely due to overlooked factors. Although additional data may seem beneficial, other non-rational factors must be considered, extending beyond our analytical and information-seeking minds. Manipulation versus inspiration. Influencing human behavior can be done in two ways, through manipulation or inspiration. Typical manipulations include lowering prices, conducting promotions, instilling fear, and using peer pressure. When companies lack a clear understanding of why their customers choose their products or services, they rely heavily on manipulative tactics to achieve their goals. Selling based on price is akin to addiction for the seller. The immediate benefits are great, but the more it is done, the more difficult it becomes to break free from the cycle. Once buyers become accustomed to paying below-average prices for a product or service, convincing them to pay more becomes highly challenging. Fear, whether real or perceived, is arguably one of the most potent forms of manipulation. When marketing professionals claim that most of a population or a panel of specialists favors their product over another, they try to influence the buyer to believe that their offering is superior. Peer pressure is compelling, not because most experts are correct, but because we dread being mistaken. Genuine innovation can revolutionize entire industries or even societies, as seen with inventions like the light bulb, the microwave, and iTunes. Simply adding a camera to a mobile phone does not constitute innovation. It may be a valuable feature, but it does not fundamentally transform an industry. Introducing new ideas can increase sales, but the impact is temporary. If a company introduces too many new ideas too frequently, it can affect the product or category similarly to price competition. Striving to stand out with additional features can make the product seem more like a common item, and similar to pricing. The attempt to add more products to counter the commonness leads to a decline, the cost you incur for the profit you generate. While manipulations can indeed boost sales in the short term, they do not foster loyalty. In the long run, they become more costly and add pressure for both the buyer and the seller. On the other hand, fostering loyalty through genuine connection and understanding of the why behind your business can lead to repeat business and long-term customer relationships, which is ultimately more beneficial. Repeated business occurs when individuals engage in multiple transactions with you. Loyalty is demonstrated when individuals are willing to forego a superior product or better price to continue doing business with you. This long-term commitment often eliminates the need for customers to research competing businesses, providing a sense of security and investment in their relationships, all fostered by a clear Why? Free. In today's business climate, focusing on short-term results has led to an emphasis on continually adding quick fixes to the mix. Manipulative practices result in transactions rather than fostering loyalty. For one-time transactions, rewards and punishment are the most effective ways to encourage the desired behavior. Manipulative techniques are a valid strategy for driving a single transaction. The "we are in this together" bond shared between customers and companies defines exceptional leadership. Simon Sinek's "Start with Why" is centered around identifying the golden circle, which consists of 3 elements: why, how, and what. Most people and companies struggle to communicate clearly why they do what they do. Profitability is not the focal point here. It is merely an outcome. Why pertains to one's purpose. What is the reason behind your company's existence? Why do you wake up every morning? And why should anyone take an interest? Understanding and communicating the why in business can be enlightening and inspiring. The how represents the process or actions taken to realize the why, and the what is the result or product of the how. Every company, regardless of size or industry, knows what it offers. This includes the products or services a company provides and the roles and responsibilities within the organization. When we consider why, we shift from the core outward. The why signifies the motivation for purchasing, while the what's are the tangible manifestations that validate that conviction. We use what's justifications to rationalize our preference for one company. Clarity, discipline, and consistency. When we can only identify tangible elements or rely on logical measurements, the utmost confidence we can express is, "I believe this is the correct decision." When we rely on gut instincts for decision-making, the highest degree of confidence we can convey is that the decision seems right, even if it contradicts all the available facts and figures. Articulating the why behind decisions provides the emotional context. When you know your why, the highest level of confidence you can convey is, "I know it's the right decision." This understanding not only feels right, but it also empowers you to justify and express your decision with ease. Start with why, but know how. Motivation comes from energy, but inspiration comes from charisma. Energy is something that can be easily observed, quantified, and imitated. Every exceptional leader possesses charisma because they all have a clear why, an unwavering belief in a purpose or cause larger than themselves. Sinek provides the example of Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer had a lot of energy. Despite being reserved and awkward, Bill Gates exudes charisma. When Steve Ballmer speaks, people are invigorated, but that enthusiasm tends to fade quickly. When Bill Gates says, people listen intently. They retain those teachings for weeks, months, or even years. Charisma elicits loyalty, whereas energy does not. Every why leader is complemented by a how leader who brings the vision to fruition. Why leaders are imaginative visionaries, often with an abundance of optimism, believing that their every thought can be achieved. They are typically focused on the intangible, such as the future. Conversely, how leaders are pragmatic and realistic, concentrating on visible tasks and excelling in execution. It's interesting that according to Simon Sinek, how types can achieve great success, but rarely create billion-dollar businesses with a global impact. While a how type may not necessarily require a why type to succeed, a why type always relies on a how type, or they'll end up as visionary individuals who struggle to make ends meet. The distinction between why and how types also highlights the disparity between an organization's vision and mission statements. The vision represents the founder's purpose and the why behind the company's establishment. The mission outlines the how of how the company will bring that vision to fruition. When both are articulated, it will facilitate the establishment of distinct roles for why and how type leaders in the partnership. Communication is about listening. Symbols enable us to transform the abstract into concrete. Their significance arises from the meaning we attribute to them. A logo only evolves into a symbol when it motivates individuals to utilize it to express their identity. Consider the case of Harley-Davidson. Those who wear it embody the ethos and way of life associated with Harley-Davidson. The symbol no longer solely represents Harley-Davidson. It now encapsulates an entire set of values, those of its admirers. The emphasis of the emblem has shifted from being about Harley to being about the individuals who appreciate Harley-Davidson for what they stand for. How do you determine what is beneficial for you and what isn't? Sinek introduces the celery test as a solution to this dilemma. Envision a scenario where you are advised that you need cookies, Nutella, celery, fruits, and ice cream to thrive. Is it necessary to obtain all of these items? No, because it is costly, time-consuming, and lacks focus. Instead, filter everything through your why. If your why is to maintain a healthy lifestyle, you would likely only choose the fruit of the celery. By evaluating decisions through your why, you conserve resources and, more importantly, remain dedicated to your purpose. Split happens. Every company typically begins with an idea as its foundation. Initially, ideas are driven by passion, a powerful emotion that can sometimes lead to irrational decisions. However, for love to endure, it requires both structures and practical methods. The absence of hows or whys often fails many companies. The origin of why. Before launching a business, it's commonly emphasized that market research is essential. Conducting thorough market research helps understand the target audience and develop a niche. However, Sinek holds a different viewpoint. According to Sinek, the why does not originate from envisioning the desired achievements and forming a suitable strategy to reach them. It does not stem from market research, customer interviews, or extensive staff discussions. Instead, it arises from looking in the opposite direction of where you currently stand. Discovering the why is a process of realization, not creation. The why resides within you. Once you identify and comprehend your why, the most challenging aspect is to stay loyal to it. The new competition. When faced with universal competition, support is scarce. However, individual improvement garners support from others. Consider our approach to business, constantly striving to outperform rivals in quality, features, and service. Comparing ourselves to others leaves us unsupported. Imagine if we dedicated each workday to surpassing our past performance, solely driven by the desire to leave the organization better than we found it. Every organization begins with understanding its why, but genuinely exceptional ones maintain a clear sense of purpose year after year. Those who lose sight of their foundational why end up competing against others every day rather than striving to surpass their previous achievements. Your most significant competition is yourself. Whatever you do in life, it should always be driven by a purpose. When you do not have a purpose, you are running without a destination in mind. Simon Sinek explores the basis of what, how, and why in his book, Start with Why, to make you reflect upon your core mission or belief in life. People who identify their purpose in life not only achieve success in their life, but also foster loyalty among their community, as well as inspire them to become better. So, have you discovered your purpose yet? Thank you for listening to our audiobook summary. If you enjoyed it and are interested in purchasing the full book, click the link in the description below. Your support helps keep this channel running. If there's a specific book you'd like us to summarize next, please leave the title in the comments. We love hearing your suggestions and will do our best to cover your requested books. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Happy reading!